Welcome back to another HitFilm tutorial. With the next Fantastic Beasts movie coming out very soon, we're excited to tackle these Harry Potter magical effects. You can download the plate we're using in the description below. We're also giving 50% off to the first 20 people to purchase the 3D Particles pack. Let's go ahead and get started. Here's the shot of Ollie blocking and casting a few spells. For this tutorial, we're just going to focus on the first blue spell. At the end, I'll show you how to change a few settings to get a different result. Begin by bringing in the particle simulator effect and placing it at the point you want it to start. In the controls panel, drop down the emitter settings and change the trajectory to disk. Set the X rotation to 90 to have it facing the camera. This will make the particles move out from the center point. Search for speed in the bar up top, and set that to around 2000. Search for life and change the value to 0.2 seconds, and the variation to 0.1 second. The particles are continuing to spawn, so search for per second. Activate keyframes on the first frame of the simulation, and set the value in the hundreds. Skip a few frames forward and bring it down to 0. This will result in a quick burst of particles. Change the texture source to built-in, and choose one you like. For my scenes, I use the Fire Ferocity textures. Checkmark Align to Motion. Right-click the layer and set the blend to Screen. To make the particles fade out, select the system and come up to the Lifetime panel. Choose the Alpha property and change the type to Gradient. Click below the white line to add a black point at the beginning and end. This means that the particles will start transparent, fade into opaque, then fade back out again. Duplicate the particle simulator layer. I'll hide the bottom one for now so that we can see what changes are being made. Add the atomic particles effect onto the second simulation. Under Particle Placement, Number of Particles, increase the X and Y values to the max. Under the Fractal dropdown, increase the display strength to somewhere between 100 and 300. Lower the wavelength to below 10% to see an effect. You can get very different looks just by changing the number, even by 1%, so try a few and see what works. Let's add a zoom blur to make it less sharp. I'll position the handle in the middle of the particles, then increase the strength. Here's what the particles look like together. Remember to turn on motion blur for more realism. Once you've got the particles in a good place, select the two layers, right-click, and make them into their own composite shot. If you're done tweaking the spell hits, you can pre-render this composite in the Media panel to speed up your workflow. Back in the main comp, set the blend of the layer to Screen. Drop on the Color Vibrance effect. In the controls, I'll change it to blue. Because this effect is made of light, we'll need a few glow effects. I like to use multiple of these, with different thresholds and radius settings. Stacking the glow effects instead of using just one results in a more realistic falloff of light. Depending on how bright I want the spell to be, I also might set the blend of one to Add instead of Screen. To create some distortion under the spell, I'll create a grade layer and add the heat distortion effect. If the spell is a smaller one, you might want to mask out the grade so that only a portion of the scene is affected. In the controls, I'll keyframe the opacity of the grade layer to start at 0 before the spell is cast. Move the timeline forward and raise the value as you see fit. Then bring it back down to 0 after the spell is gone. I'll also use a curves effect on that same grade. This can add some brightness to the base footage, as well as tinting it the color of the spell to get it to match better. Because it's on the same grade as the heat distortion, the opacity is already taken care of. This is how I created the spell energy for the whole scene. If you want your character to be casting a spell rather than blocking, there are just a few settings you need to change. I'll just do this as a quick example to what we've already created. First, you'll want to use a cone trajectory rather than disk. This will make the particles move in one direction. You can increase or decrease the radius to change the spread. By adjusting the position and trajectory of both particle simulations, I can retime this spell to happen when Ollie throws his arm forward. We'll be covering the disapparition effect next week, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so that you don't miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.